All right, it's newspaper review on ABS television this Monday, the 18th day of February 2019. So delighted to be here. We have a guest in the studio who is going to help us look at some of our national dailies. And you know, of course, how we do it here. This program is audience participatory. But not to worry, when the time comes, the numbers will be on your screen for you to call with. We have a public affairs analyst in the studio in the person of Mr. Onyeka Ebenebe. Glad to have you in the studio.
Yeah, good morning, Anambrarians. It's my pleasure to be here.
Anambra.
Anambra.
All right, Onyeka, how was your weekend, your Saturday to be precise?
Well, first, it was before going to the negatives, we want to draw out from the positives. And one of such positives was for the first time, I had a Saturday free from wedding, free from church activities and other. Yeah, so it was a free Saturday. It was a good one. However, it was quite disappointing, given the fact that we had all planned for a special day, and that special day never came. But it's fine.
We hope it will come this Saturday, hopefully.
We are hopeful.
All right, let's run with the stories making the headlines on our ABS website. The story there, more Nigerians call for diversification of national economy. INEC tasked on adequate distribution of logistics before rescheduled elections. Anambra government targets 179 communities for streetlight project. National Assembly shifts resumption date. All right, let's begin with INEC task on distribution of logistics earlier.
Well,
early enough.
Like our people will say, however, it doesn't end at blaming INEC, or it doesn't end at INEC passing the ball on another person. Someone asked a question: if 23rd of February was going to be sacrosanct, and borrowing the exact word of the INEC chairman, he said that it is a given, meaning that whatever logistic problems they have had between this Saturday that stopped them from conducting the election, that it's a given that by 23rd of February, this Saturday, that it will be sorted out. So for us, because it was a national disaster, it was a national disgrace, given the fact that we had all planned for this. Resources, both national and international, have been mobilized to this effect to ensure that people go out there and cast their votes on their choice candidates. However, there was no recourse to those inconveniences before those decisions were made. If the decisions had come earlier, say Wednesday, before, not on the eve of the election, probably money that have to be spent.
It's not even on the eve, it was in the morning.
In the morning, at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's something that it requires more than an apology. We need to ensure that it doesn't
repeat itself.
Such incident doesn't repeat itself.
I know a whole lot of questions are begging for answers, because when we dig deep, you know, it's more you can't just come out and tell people logistics and you expect me to listen.
You know, I think we have that
logistics
topic,
and miscellaneous are provisions usually given to hide the truth.
And that's what I'm saying. They didn't give birth to us yesterday, but it's all good.
All right, let's move to this story. Anambra government targets 179 communities, you know, for streetlight project.
I think for me the main mention of it gladdens the heart. Given the fact that,
you know, some of us that comes to work so early, you know,
exactly,
it helps us a lot.
Exactly, and given the increasing number of incidents of robbery, KK robbery, and all that we have experienced over just few this past month, maybe as a result of cultism and other things that I don't know how to put it, but then that street light provides, it helps a lot. Because nobody will want to attack you when their faces will be seen. So they only operate in dark because they are agent of darkness.
Yeah.
So the street light for me is one of the best things, among the best things that this present administration have done. I think it's one of the legacy project of this present administration, and it's very highly commendable.
By resumption of National Assembly, they had to move their resumption date. What's your take on that? And I think it's what happened on Saturday informed the decision.
Well, so many things could still be. Every other thing will be pointed at the Saturday incident. Yeah, quite frankly, for their resumption, now that it has been shifted again. It's also it's very important for everyone because one, most of the members of National Assembly are involved in this election. And with this extension, they need to still go back to their various communities, grassroots, and mobilize people for votes. So it's expected. Another concern for me is that there has been a shift in an area of people had moved their wedding dates from 16
that's another
to
one.
23rd of February. So, and now they are shifting it back again. So I think for the first time we might be considering an election that movements will not be hindered. Yes, because the resources that has been expended in preparing for such wedding, the extension, it was 16. Maybe because 16 is a national day of a national election day for Nigerians. Yeah. So let's shift this thing to 23rd. Yeah, and the more you keep procrastinating wedding, there are psychological trauma associated with it. Whether
do you think that will work? Do you think that will work? You know, not to restrict movement on election day.
I think now that it's clear that they postponed it, movement will still be restricted on Saturday.
Movement will still be restricted on Saturday, but that is why we are calling on the authorities that are involved that there need to be an unreserved apology to Nigerians, and then finding a way, because what has happened on Saturday is that because there are provisions in the electoral law.
Are you saying the apology rendered on Saturday after the...
No, that wasn't an apology.
No, during the meeting.
No, that wasn't an apology.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I'm certain about that.
110% sure it's not an apology.
Apology.
Well, we can go on and on. Let's move on to the very first papers this morning. Daily Sun, stories making the headlines. Suspended campaigns, INEC under pressure. Will continue electioneering in line with Electoral Act provisions. That's coming from PDP. Will campaign, Ashomole is saying that opposition parties can go ahead. CUPP. APC holds caucus meeting today. On top of that story, Anambra community cries out over herdsmen attacks. Federal government begins civil service, ease of doing business reforms. Kajuru killings, El Rufai community trade blames. Busybodies politicizing killings, says governor. Police unjustly arrested our people, Adara spokesman. Airports operated 24 hours on February 15. Nama, well, that story is making the headlines on Daily Sun this morning, but let's get a big story. Suspending campaigns, INEC under pressure. And now PDP saying they'll go back to campaign. APC saying they'll go back to campaign, and a whole lot is really happening. What's your take?
Yeah, I think these political parties are critical stakeholders in the election process, and so also as citizens and voters. And as such, the laws are meant to serve the people, not the other way around. However, if you would even want to follow the law, the the provision says campaigning stops 24 hours before the election. Okay. Now, if an election has been suspended, it then behoves on every person, every stakeholder involved in the election process to go back to campaigning, because this could be last-minute opportunities. Otherwise, if INEC uses its authority to stop the election, what it therefore means is that you are creating an opening in the electoral process for people to go to court at the end of the election and say that this election didn't hold and there are certain conditions that were not met. And that begins another cycle of legal tussle. And that is something we are not ready for.
There was a trade of blame yesterday concerning this whether campaigning or not. APC said they've finished campaigning all the 36 states. That PDP said that they merely did jamboree. That why they could not finish is that they have to really talk to the people the way it should. And you begin to ask yourself, does it mean APC doesn't want to continue with the campaign or what?
Well, that could be an assumption. However, given the call of the caucus meeting that I think will be going on today by 11 or so at the APC Secretariat, it goes to show that the call wouldn't be for any other reason but to re-strategize on how to mobilize votes. And if that is the reason, it therefore means that truly they are also re-strategizing on how to win more votes. So why these people were campaigning, going to state, and because at times I tell people that campaigning and looking at that type of massive crowd doesn't speak volume of who the electorates are. No, it doesn't. No matter the crowds can be rented. And I say it every now and then that the same crowd that went for A rally will go for B rally. So all they need is money.
All right.
Let's quickly touch this.
Sorry, please. This program is audience participatory. Okay. The numbers are on your screen. Just pick the numbers and call. Make your own opinion count on any issues raised here. All right.
Anambra community cries out over herdsmen's attack. That's actually a very big one.
That's a sad one. It's a sad one, and we are calling on the authorities to tackle it as soon as possible, because this is something that has been happening in other states, and because of the security architecture we have in Anambra State, I think we've been able to curb that. So I think we need to really tackle that.
All right. Let's move on to the next papers.
The Daily Times newspaper for review. The big story there: despite election odds, Nigeria's currency remains strong. APCON laud CBN BDC's reforms as FX turnover hits $14.91 billion in January. Investors in equities market gain 45 billion naira. Up there we have elections shifts. Lawyers divided over INEC suspension of campaigns. Since polls have been shifted, the period of campaign has also shifted. Falona, Jegede, others. Sage Jimo, others. No electoral umpire is right. Campaigns have elapsed. Now, down here we have polls shift. Serap to sue federal government. NAS over constitutional breaches. And United States backs ECOWAS. Foreign observers on election postponement. Airport operated 24 hours on February 15 to distribute INEC materials. NAS postpones resumption to February 26. I think let's look at this story. Airport operating 24 hours on February 15 to really distribute INEC materials.
And that is where the confusion is. Airport operated 24 hours on February 15. Now, how did we get to this? Why was there a logistics problem again when the airport operated
just to make sure that the materials get to
both the sensitive ones and others?
Okay, the person is good. All right, now the Serap suing federal government and National Assembly over constitutional breaches. What's your take on that?
Serap has been at the forefront of ensuring accountability and trying to ensure that the rule of law prevails. And for me, if we have 3 or 4 Seraps in this country, authorities would have been up and doing. Well, suing, it just goes beyond suing and all that. The National Assembly had amended the Electoral Act for the president to assent on, but the president declined that. Now, if you begin to, there is a sense to which blames could start be treading. This one will say is the National Assembly. Listening to the INEC boss on Saturday, he was saying that the National Assembly, that given the amount of work the electoral management body does, that it's about time that there is need for us to call for a discussion. What are we supposed to do? Maybe let's just face managing of the election, that if we are doing that, we'll be more efficient. Now, those were the provisions that the National Assembly included, but it wasn't assented to. So, in the course of trying to sue whoever, whether the National Assembly or the presidency, SERAP needs to do a study more and know which organ of government will be sued.
All right, let's move on to the next paper, the Punch newspaper. Stories making the headlines. APC, PDP defy INEC, vow to continue campaigns. Will take final position on electioneering today, INEC. On top of that story, phone manufacturers dump Nigeria factory plans. Postponement, APC national caucus meets in Abuja today. My life in danger, Kogi deputy governor cries out. Pro-PVCs supplied by APC candidates firm. Secondus tells INEC. Pool delay, INEC lied about weather, says minister. Custom officer shoots civilian friend dead. Pray or elections may not hold. Can warns Nigerians. 8 die in Ogun. Auto crash, expectant mother injured.
All right, we also take the Guardian newspapers. We take the papers together for want of time. Okay, the Daily Independent newspapers. The big story there, how international community, election postponement, how international community saved INEC chairman's job, sacking him unreasonable, says Saga. Buhari attends APC emergency meeting today. APC, Buhari's government sabotaging INEC. That's coming from PDP. INEC meets again today. Police confirm killing of APC chairman in Benue. My life is in danger, Kogi deputy governor cries out as police withdraw ADC orderly. Security details. NAS postpones the resumption to February 26. 5 terrorists, 4 soldiers killed in Boko Haram Yobe attack. The last paper for review and not the list, the Guardian newspapers.
Well, stories making the headlines. Voters, candidates stranded as airlines cancel flights. Well, underneath that story, you've got NAMA denies flight disruption during polls materials distribution. Economy lost $5 billion to elections postponement, says experts. Army loses 4 officers repelling Boko Haram attack in Yobe State. Well, that's about the stories making the headlines on the Guardian newspapers. All
right, let's quickly look at that story of a man that was killed. I think that happened yesterday by customs. Yesterday, and a woman was actually shouting with a phone saying that he killed over 5,000 or whatever that you have. I don't know, why should this be happening in our nation?
It goes to show the level of insecurity that security agents give to us, because it's no longer about insecurity caused by hoodlums, but insecurity on the part of those that are supposed to provide us with security. However, the Custom Authority has come up with a press release saying that the boy in question that was killed was one that helps provide them with water and all that. So there are contradicting statements to that. First, they are saying that the man was shot dead because of 5,000 naira, according to what we saw on the video. Custom authorities are now saying that it was as a result of the fracas that ensued between a passenger of a white bus and the custom officer. In the course of exchanging words and all that, the trigger.
Are you kidding?
In fact, I don't know who to believe, and the young man's life was lost just as a result of carelessness. And if you would believe the story of the woman, 5,000 naira, a life has been wasted. So I think it doesn't just go beyond issuing out press statements. The authority needs to get the person that shot or the custom officer and he needs to face the full weight of the law. Otherwise, it wouldn't. It was if they do that, and we also need to know the level of the punishment that has been meted on him. Otherwise, it wouldn't. Because by so doing, it will serve as a deterrent to others. Otherwise, you leave us in the hand of a high level of insecurity by those that are supposed to provide us with this.
Because we have issues. When issues like this happen, and nobody wants to even do a thorough investigation, because now they are contradicting stories.
And that story wouldn't have come out if nobody had videoed it. So it also goes to show what social media has helped us to unravel some of the mysteries of the atrocities committed on a highway and some other places on daily basis. So it's as a result of our appreciating the role of social media. Some of these terrible things that are happening are now coming online.
You know, for whatever reason, I think life means a lot. That shouldn't have happened. And please, on this sad note, we are ending our newspaper review for this morning. Would like to thank you so much for watching, and we also appreciate our guest this morning, Mr. Onyeka Ebenebe. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
The Anambra, I salute you. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll get back to you. Don't go anywhere, because we have more on Good Morning Anambra show today.